Good morning children and welcome back to your chemistry class. Today in this chapter further we move to discuss about the rate law expression. So this rate law expression, it tells about the actual dependence of the rate of reaction on the concentration of various reacting species, right? It is based completely on the experimental facts and it is always written for the slowest step, or you may say the rate determining step in the mechanism of the reaction. Clear? So let's take one example over here. Like example number 1, if we take 2Na2O5, which is in the gaseous state, gives us 4NO2 in the gaseous state plus oxygen, right? So over here the rate expression according to the law of mass action will be what? It is R is equal to the rate constant, and then N2O5 2. Clear? So let us look at the mechanism of the reaction. So if you look at this reaction, the mechanism shows like this. Let me write down over here the mechanism. It goes like this: N2O5 on slow reaction, it is first going to give us NO2 plus NO3, right? So this is your first step and this is a slow step. Then N2O5, it is combining with NO3, and further the reaction goes little faster to form 3NO2 plus O2, right? But as I told you, rate law expression, it is generally written for the slowest step or the rate determining step. So which is the slowest step? This is the slowest step. So this will be equal to R K, that is your rate constant, N2O5 to the power of 1. So this is for the slow step. I hope this is clear. So this expression is the rate law expression, or we can also say it is the rate equation, right? Let's take another example over here, like 2NO2 plus F2 gives 2NO2F, right? So now over here rate expression according to the law of mass action should be what? It should be R is equal to K NO2 to the power of 2 F2, right? Now let us look at the mechanism of it. So over here you will see NO2 combines with fluorine. It shows a slow reaction to form NO2F plus F, right? Then NO2 plus F, it shows a fast reaction to give us NO2F, right? So for the slow reaction, what will be your rate law expression or rate equation? R is equal to K NO2 to the power of 1 F2 to the power of 1. So this is your rate equation. I hope this rate law expression is clear to you. So over here, the expression which describes experimental observation, right, depending on the reaction rate on the molar concentration of the reactants, it is called as the rate law or rate equation. So this rate constant, that is K, which is also termed as specific reaction rate, right? So this K, that is the rate constant appearing in the expression for the rate law of the reaction, it is called as rate constant. It is also termed as velocity constant, or also called as specific reaction rate of the reaction, the specific rate of the reaction. It is always equal to the rate of reaction when the concentration of each of the reactant is unity, right? So this rate constant of a reaction, it always has a definite value at a particular temperature, and its value always increases with the increase in temperature and does not depend upon the initial concentration of the reactants. Now some of the characteristics of this K: higher the value of K, greater will be the rate of reaction. A particular reaction, it has a definite value of K at a particular temperature, right? Then also the value of this rate constant, as I told you, it always increases with the increase in temperature. It does not depend upon the initial concentration of the reactants also, and its unit completely depends upon the overall order of reaction, which I had already explained you earlier, right? Now let us understand what are elementary and complex reactions. So firstly, elementary reactions. Reactions which take place in one step, they are termed as elementary reactions. For such reactions, order of reaction is equal to its molecularity, right? Represented by the balanced chemical equation. So let us take for example over here, I am talking about elementary reactions over here. As I told you, it takes place in one step, and these reactions, the order of reaction is equal to its molecularity, right? Which is always represented by a balanced chemical equation. So like for example, H2 plus I2, it gives us 2HI. Clear? So over here, it is an elementary reaction. Now why it is an elementary reaction? Let us look at the order of reaction over here. So if you look at the order of reaction over here, you will find K is equal to H2 to the power of 1 and I2 to the power of 1. So this means what? It means 1 plus 1, which is 2. So your order of reaction is what? 2. Clear? So this is termed as an elementary reaction, where the reaction has taken place in just one step. But what are then complex reactions? The reactions which takes place not in just one step, but it could be in two or more than two steps. Then they are termed as complex reactions. Then each step of a complex reaction is an elementary reaction, right? And the slowest elementary step is the rate determining step. Fine. So complex reactions, they cannot be identified just by looking at a balanced chemical equation. So try to understand the difference just now between elementary and complex reaction. And this was the example of elementary reaction. Just now I will give you examples for complex reaction also. So as I told you, elementary reactions, the reactions which take place in just one step, right? Such reactions, order of reaction is always equal to the molecularity. Order of reaction is equal to the molecularity, right? Which is represented by a balanced equation. But the complex reaction, this reactions which take place in two or more steps, they are termed as complex reactions, and rate determining step will be which one? The slowest elementary step will be the rate determining step, right? So these complex reactions, they cannot be identified by just looking at the balanced equation. So let me give you one example over here. Like for example, just a general example, and then I will give you certain reactions. So if we assume that 3A plus 2B is going to give us C. Now simply you might think that this is an elementary reaction, but no, it is not an elementary reaction. This is a complex reaction. Now let us look at the mechanism of this reaction, then we will understand how it became a complex reaction. So if this particular reaction can be subdivided into 3 different elementary reactions. So let us look at those 3 elementary reactions. Like this can be written as 2A plus B, suppose gives us any product P, right? Then my second step goes, this P combines with more of A. So 2 plus 1 makes it 3. Okay. So this product P combines with more of A and gives me another product Q. Now this Q combines with, just now we have just used one B, we need one more B. So this Q combines with another B and gives us C. So now if we add all these 3 equations, this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3 equation. Adding all the above equations, right? So if you add all the equations, what are you going to see? P gets cancelled, Q gets cancelled. What do you get? 2A plus A. 3A plus 2B gives us C. This is what is written over here. But this particular equation took place in 3 different steps. So understood this point? So here experimentally, what will be the rate determining step over here? The first one is your rate determining step, that is the slowest step, right? So R will be equal to K, that is your rate constant, A to the power of 2, B to the power of 1. Is this point clear? So in complex reactions, we do not take stoichiometric coefficient, but if the question says the reaction is a simple equation or a simple reaction, then that means it has taken place in a single step. Then emphasis on simple reaction, that is in the single step, we follow the Guldberg-Wade theory of using the stoichiometric coefficient as our power over here. But if the reaction is a complex one, then it completely depends upon the experiment. Clear? Now let's take some more examples over here, like H2 plus Br2 gives 2HBr. Okay, this is a complex reaction. Then even your H2 plus Cl2 gives us 2HCl. Now you must be wondering that these are so simple reactions, they should be an elementary reaction, but no, they are not elementary reactions, right? For example, if we look at this, H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl. The rate law will be over here equal to K H2 1 Cl2 1, right? It looks like it is this, but experimentally if you see, right, but experimentally actually R is equal to, K H2 to the power of 0 Cl2 to the power of 0, right? Therefore we say that it belongs to 0 order, right, which is not at all equal to the stoichiometric coefficients given in the reaction. I hope this much is very clear to you. So now let us understand chemical kinetics of 0 order reaction, which is also called as the integrated rate expression for the 0 order reaction. So let us assume that A gives us a product. Okay. So now your ROR will be equal to RK to the power of 0. Clear? Over here, what did we say? C, N is equal to 0. So what will be the unit over here? It will be moles per liter per second. So in the zero order reaction, we need to remember that these are the special kind of reactions where the rate of reaction does not depend upon the concentration of the reactant. That is, the concentration of the reactant, it decreases with the increase in the time, right? But it will not affect the rate of reaction. I repeat, zero order reactions, these are special kind of reactions where the rate of reaction does not depend upon the concentration of the reactant. That is, if the concentration of the reactant, it decreases with the increase in time, but it will not affect the rate of reaction, right? So now we can write the rate of reaction. How? The rate of reaction now could be written as minus 1 upon 1 dA upon dt. Let this be equation 2. That was equation 1. This is equation 2. Now let us equating equation 1 and equation 2 over here. So what are we going to get? Minus dA upon dt is equal to K a to the power of 0. Now we know this is equal to 1, right? So minus dA upon dt is equal to K. Okay. Now minus dA is equal to, if we take it this side, then K is equal to dt, or we can also say that dA is equal to minus K dt, right? Now we integrate both the sides. Integrating both sides, what do we get? dA is equal to minus K dt, right? Now suppose over here, say if you take time is equal to 0, right? Then your concentration of your reactant A initially is A0, right? But at a certain time T, that same concentration becomes what? A. This is the remaining part. This is the initial one and this is the remaining part, right? So how do we write it down? Now taking the limits, how are we going to write? Draw it over here. I hope you can see here. Okay. So if we take the limits, then we can do it like this. A initial dA is equal to minus T initial K dt. When the time was 0, then concentration was also A0, and when T became, after a certain time, it became A. So this is what I have written over here. Okay. So this can be written as A upon AO is equal to K D, and D get cancelled. So K T upon initial. So this becomes, if we take this, A minus K T minus 0. So A minus A naught is equal to minus KT. Therefore, A is equal to minus KT plus AO. This comes here plus AO. So this becomes your A is equal to minus KT plus A naught. If we say that rate constant into the time is equal to AO minus A, right? Then your K will be equal to what? AO minus A upon T. Clear? So this is your integrated rate law. This is your integrated rate law. Right? Now let us understand this graphically. So let's come over here. I'll explain it to you over here. So if we look at the graph, we know this is the y-axis with the concentration of A, and this is your time at the x-axis, right? Now if here is the concentration of A, suppose here is the concentration of A, so we have already learned that it shows a straight line, a slope with a straight line, where it forms theta angle over here. So we know that slope is equal to tan theta. So this will be equal to minus K, right? So now let us see that it is a straight line. How do we check this? So you already know the equation y is equal to mx plus c. So let's see that A is equal to, what did I write over here? Minus kt plus A naught. So this A is your y-axis. This is your y-axis. This is your x-axis. Correct? So next, what is this? K. This is your M. What is your T? It is your x time. And what is your A naught? This is your A naught, the intercept. This is the intercept, that is the C. So y is equal to mx plus c. I hope this is clear. And what about this negative? It is a negative slope, right? So y is equal to mx plus c. What does that mean? It means that it is a straight line. Clear? This was all about the chemical kinetics of zero order reaction or integrated rate expression for the zero order reaction. About first order reaction we are going to discuss tomorrow. Till here we do today. Thank you.